Hello everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with podcast. I'm so excited to have you here with me today for episode 29. Today's episode is a level 4 difficulty, so it will be a bit more challenging than the previous episodes, but don't worry, we will have lots of fun along the way. Grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's dive into another engaging and entertaining English learning adventure. Before we start, I want to ask you a few questions to get your brain thinking in English. Feel free to answer out loud or just think about your answers in your head. Have you ever traveled to another country? What was the most interesting place you visited? Did you have any funny or unusual experiences during your travels? Think about these questions as we go through today's episode. I'll share some of my travel experiences, and maybe you'll relate to some of them. Let me tell you about a time when I traveled to Japan. I was so excited to explore the culture, try the food, and of course, practice my Japanese. But as you can imagine, not everything went according to plan. One day, I decided to visit a local restaurant. I was feeling quite adventurous and wanted to try something new. So, I asked the waiter for a recommendation. He suggested a dish called natto. Now, for those of you who don't know, natto is a traditional Japanese food made from fermented soybeans. It has a very strong smell and a sticky texture. But I didn't know that at the time. When the dish arrived, I was a bit surprised by the smell, but I didn't want to be rude, so I took a big bite. Let me tell you, the taste was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. It was so strong that I almost couldn't swallow it. But I kept a smile on my face and finished the dish. Later, I found out that natto is an acquired taste, and even many Japanese people don't like it. I had a good laugh about it afterwards. Now, let's take a moment to learn some useful vocabulary and phrases from my story. Repeat after me to practice your pronunciation. Adventurous, willing to take risks or try out new methods, ideas, or experiences. Recommendation, a suggestion or proposal as to the best course of action. Fermented, having undergone a process involving the conversion of carbohydrates to alcohol or organic acids using microorganisms. Acquired taste, something that you may not like at first, but with time and repeated exposure, you begin to appreciate it. Can you think of any other foods that might be considered an acquired taste? Maybe you have some in your own culture. Let's take a break from travel stories and talk about some fun facts about language. Did you know that the English language has over 170,000 words in current use? That's a lot of words. But don't worry, you don't need to learn all of them. Most native speakers only use a fraction of that number in their daily conversations. Now, I want you to imagine your dream vacation. Close your eyes and picture it. Where are you? What do you see? What do you hear? Describe it to yourself in English. Here are some questions to help you. What country are you in? What is the weather like? What activities are you doing? Are you trying any new foods? Take a few moments to visualize and describe your dream vacation. This is a great exercise to practice your English and expand your vocabulary. Traveling can lead to some very funny and memorable experiences. Let me share another story with you. This one is from my trip to Italy. I was in Rome, and I decided to take a bus tour around the city. I wanted to see all the famous landmarks, like the Colosseum, the Vatican, and the Trevi Fountain. Everything was going smoothly until the bus stopped for a short break. I got off the bus to take some pictures, but I got so caught up in the beauty of the city that I didn't notice the bus leaving without me. I was left standing there, all alone, in the middle of Rome. I didn't have a map or know the local language very well, so I had to ask for help. Luckily, the locals were very friendly and helped me find my way back to my hotel. It was a bit scary at the time, but now I look back and laugh about it. Let's use this story to review the past simple tense. The past simple tense is used to describe actions that happened in the past and are now finished. For example, I decided to take a bus tour. The bus stopped for a short break. I got off the bus to take some pictures. To form the past simple tense of regular verbs, you usually add ed to the base form of the verb. For irregular verbs, you need to memorize their past forms. Practice using the past simple tense by describing some of your own past travel experiences. Traveling to a new country can be exciting, but also a bit challenging. Here are some cultural tips to keep in mind. Learn a few basic phrases in the local language. Even simple words like hello, thank you, and please can go a long way. Respect local customs and traditions. What is considered polite in one culture might be rude in another. Be open-minded and flexible. Things might not always go as planned, and that's okay. Sometimes the best experiences come from unexpected situations. Let's do a quick quiz to test your knowledge. I'll ask a few questions, and you try to answer them. What is natto made from? What does acquired taste mean? How many words are in current use in the English language? Think about your answers. Ready? Here they are. Natto is made from fermented soybeans. An acquired taste is something you may not like at first, but begin to appreciate over time. There are over 170,000 words in current use in the English language. How did you do? Don't worry if you didn't get them all right. The important thing is that you're learning and having fun. We've covered a lot today, from funny travel stories to useful vocabulary and grammar tips. Remember, learning a language is a journey, and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. The key is to keep practicing and to enjoy the process. Before we end, I have a little homework for you. Think about your own travel experiences or dream vacations. Write a short paragraph describing one of them using the past simple tense. Try to use some of the new vocabulary words we learned today. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Learn English with Podcast. I hope you had fun and learned something new. Don't forget to tune in next time for another exciting episode. Until then, keep practicing, keep smiling, and happy learning. Before we go, let me leave you with a joke to make you smile. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. See you next time.